Hi, I'm Andy Sherratt of Spa Professional Academy. We are a Chartered Institute of Marketing accredited study centre. So we deliver the courses to enable people to get CIM qualifications. Now my talk here is about understanding your customers to deliver exceptional experiences. Whatever role we're in marketing and whatever context of an organisation we work for, it's really important that our customers get an exceptional experience, get something that makes them go, wow, that was fantastic. If we're just providing what they want, then loads of other people are doing that as well. So we've got to stand out. And the only way we can do that, the only way we can deliver exceptional experiences, is to really understand our customers and find out what they want and what makes an exceptional experience for them. So in this talk, we're going to have a quick look through, and it's not going to be great in depth, but hopefully give you some really helpful, useful ideas about understanding who the customer is, what the characteristics of the customer are, what is the journey that that customer goes through when purchasing and dealing with you, right from their first finding out about what you do through to becoming a raving fan at the end of an ongoing raving fan. How do we make sure we create exceptional touch points that make them want to come back so that we build a long-term relationship with them? Well, the first point is understanding who our customers are. And a great way to do that is to look across the customer base that we've got and that we would like to have and build customer personas. So what is a customer persona? Well, a customer persona is a thumbnail summary. It's a brief summary that identifies and describes the characteristics, the needs, the motivations, and the environment of typical customers. I actually got the word digital in here because I've copied and pasted this from elsewhere, so it doesn't need to be in that. It's all customers. So that's what a persona is. And we need to understand those personas so that we can identify our customers. So what goes into a persona? What do we use? What do we create? Well, actually, the first thing is give them a name. Now, this is something that sounds very twee and things to outsiders. People talk about personas and give them a name. And so people in the organisation might talk about Joe or Chris or whoever in terms of it. And that adds that humanity to the persona. We're not talking about something that is just Group A, Group B, or whatever on that basis. We're talking about people, because whether we're in business to consumer or business to business, the people matter. So humanise it. Give the persona a name that everybody can relate to. And don't worry if somebody says, that's rubbish, we don't need to give them a name. It really helps. It becomes ingrained, and we're doing things. We think, is this right for Joe? What do we need to understand though about them? Basic demographic factors. You know, the typical, I often describe the demographic factors as being, if you're in HR, all the things you can't discriminate against somebody in relation to become the demographic factors that distinguish between different groups in terms of marketing. Some may not apply in your context, some will apply more than others, but using those basis for it. The psychographics, the behaviours, the motivations. People of similar demographics may behave quite differently to each other. They behave differently to each other because of their psychographics. So it becomes really important that we understand those. What really motivates, what's their personality fundamentally behind that, so that we can really begin to differentiate between different groups. And then, because we live in a really digital world, we also need to incorporate in our persona the webographics. So within the webographics, we're looking at basically how that persona uses digital tools. So internet use, social media, how they go about searching, what kind of devices they use, how much they use email, when they use email, what time of the day they do these things, are they doing more than one thing at a time, all of those things, understanding as much as possible about their digital behaviour. When we've got these pictures of the customers we want, the personas, when we've got these personas for the people we want, the groups we want as customers, then we can start to identify the next stages and recognise what we can do to provide those exceptional experiences. And there's a great model here from somebody whose name I've temporarily forgotten, Goal-Derived Personas, Holtz, I think is the name behind this. And what we've got here is not just thinking about the persona, but thinking about the journey of that persona, what they go through. We're going to explore that in a little bit more detail shortly. But with goal-derived personas, we start off with the persona, as we've just talked about. Who is the persona? What are we looking at in relation to them? And actually, I'm going to jump to number 3, the goal. What is that persona trying to achieve? Why would they want to interact with your organisation? What are you offering that provides a solution to something that they're after? So what's their goal? And the scenario is that bit in the middle, what they go through, their journey to satisfy their goal. So it's not just a case of understand the persona. What is their goals, and understanding that process that they go through on that basis. And to get more depth in terms of that, we need to understand the customer journey. Now, customers will have random journeys, they won't all be the same, but what we've tried to identify with the persona helps us to understand the typical journey that that persona will undertake with us. What we're talking about with the customer journey is that understanding of what they do. They find out that they want something that, in classical terms, the need recognition for the product or service that your organisation offers. So that's the start point of the journey. What do they then do? How do they then go about finding out more, ultimately placing the order, and as I say, hopefully becoming a long-term relationship-based customer? So we need to understand the route that they go. What are the touch points that they use along that journey to help them understand the best solutions for them, to help them make those decisions, to help them place the order, to help them repeat the order, to help them use the product or service when they've got it? What is that customer journey? And it will go backwards and forwards between steps as well, and have the loops that you can see on here. Now, each one is going to be different, but plotting that journey and understanding at the different stages of the cycle, which we're going to look at in a moment, what are the touch points? What are they doing? What are they trying to satisfy? Really helps us to provide the right experience. What takes them from one point of the journey to the next? So we need to think about the touch points. Now, I've got a model here from Davis that looks at it in a fairly simplistic way, and we'll explore further on this in a little while. But we can think about the pre-purchase experience. What is happening before they've made a purchase for us? What are the touch points that they're using? And we've got things like public relations, hopefully likely to visit the website, might see some advertising, might see all sorts of different things, recommendations from other people and so on. So what are those touch points pre-purchase, identifying those? There's then those touch points at the purchase decision. Now that depends whether it's online, whether it's face-to-face in a B2B context, whether it's done by telephone, whether it's done in a store type scenario, as to what they would be. But product placement, point of sale material, all of those sort of areas there for that at the purchase experience. So what are we offering and what are they wanting at those points? And then there's the post-purchase experience. A relationship doesn't really start until after that purchase, fundamentally. So the customer service we provide, the billing type things, that whole after-sales service facility that is provided. So think about what people want and what you can provide at that. And I will just be a little bit specific about digital here and think about all the digital channels that can be used in relation to that. So whether it's search engine optimization, paid advertising, pay-per-click type areas, use of video, again, use of PR, social media, email. What are all those channels that can be used in relation to the touch points, and which of those does the customer use as touch points at different stages through that journey that they have with your organisation? Now, I said that model from Davis was fairly simplistic in the 3 stages of pre-purchase, purchase and post-purchase. This is a good little table, and I'd recommend kind of taking something like this and really figuring it out and working out what it is for your personas. So a journey stages chart like this for each persona is absolutely ideal. So this breaks it down into, rather than pre-purchase, that discover, the research side of things. So we've got 2 elements there. There is that purchase, which is the same, followed by delivery and post-sale. So we're looking at each of those stages and then breaking that down into, okay, what are the tasks that's being carried out? What are they, that goal, what are they trying to do at that stage? What questions would they have? What would they want to know that they're looking as questions to get answered? How do they feel? What are their emotions at that point? What influences them? Where will they go for confirmation or to get more information? Who will they talk to? What are the influences? And finally, the weaknesses. What are we not doing as well as we could do? Because that's how we can start to build those experiences and get better at what we're doing for the future. So really take some time to plot this. And there could be a different one for each persona that you've got. Or that the personas you've identified, the customers you would like to have. Then when we've done that, another model, the user experience honeycomb. Those areas that we really should be thinking about to provide that fantastic experience. Now this model here, the honeycomb is as set here, just shows these points for it. So what do we need? That experience has to be valuable. So it's valuable. The customer gets value out of the experience. It's useful. It helps them. It does something. So every touch point, it needs to be at least one of these areas for them. It's got to be either valuable or useful for them, desirable, something they would like to do. So if they want to use a particular touch point, that's desirable. It adds a little bit more to it for them. It's got to be accessible. We need to think about, back to that persona, their behaviour. Is this accessible? Can they access this? Do they have the technology or the capability or whatever it is to access it? Is it credible? Is that a credible touch point, a credible experience for the customer? Will they believe us fundamentally? On that basis. Is it findable? It's all very well offering this fantastic experience, but if the customer has to spend far too long looking for it and really is going to struggle, then it isn't providing that experience. And finally, usable. Just got to be easy and simple for them to use. So those are the areas that are officially in this model of the user experience honeycomb. But I'd like to add another one. I think it's really important to make sure for a exceptional experience, that it is reliable, that persona knows that if they've got any kind of question, any concerns, need some information, need some help, just want to get on with other things without any worries, it's got to be reliable. So I would always add that as an extension to this user experience honeycomb. How can we make this totally reliable so that it's consistent every time any persona experiences that time with us? They know they're going to get that exceptional experience from us. So I hope that's given you a few good hints and tips about understanding your customers, getting that background persona, understanding their journey and all of the stages they go through, to look at all of those touch points, understanding their emotions, questions and so on, so that we can deliver that exceptional experience. So thanks very much for watching. I'm Andy Sherratt with a little bit of a cold, I'm afraid. My contact details are here, andrew@spa-pa.co.uk, and phone number on there for myself directly. Please get in touch if you've got any questions, if you would like to know anything about CIM qualifications. Always delighted to talk to people about that. So yeah, just get in touch and look forward to seeing you. But thanks very much for watching.